You want me to?
That's right. There you go. All right. And welcome to the Horror Comedy Hangout podcast. My name is Chris, the independent filmmaker.
I'm Jess, not the independent filmmaker.
Yes. And I think we found the perfect killer Valentine's date movie for you. It's called Hard Eyes. So stay tuned. All right, and welcome back to the Horror Comedy Hangout podcast. It's been, a little while here. We've been very busy, unfortunately, but we will definitely going to be making more coming up very shortly. So
yeah, adulting sucks.
Yeah. So because this one that we're reviewing, Heart Eyes, has been out for a couple months now. So we are a little behind the times.
Are we?
Well, I wanted to get it done around that because this came out at Valentine's Day.
Yeah, this was like the perfect Valentine's Day.
It could be
romantic movie.
Maybe you don't know. So we will tell you at the end.
Oh yeah, we will.
And you will know.
you will know
if you want to go see it or not. Yeah, sorry. So
all right. So tell us who's in this movie.
Well, I wanted to talk about
don't want to talk about that yet.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Okay, go for it.
So, we have Mason Gooding from Scream. Very good in that. We have Olivia Holt. We have Jordana Brewster. And we have Devon Sawa. So those are four of the main people in that. So good cast. Very good cast. Again, because we just reviewed Companion the other day. And another great cast. So these films have been really cast very well, drawing in really good talent. So I've been very impressed. Being early into 2025, we have some really good horror comedies coming up. This one is directed by Josh Rubin, and big fan of Josh Rubin because he did a movie called Werewolves Within a few years ago.
Oh,
yeah. Which we should review because I really liked it. It got some mixed reviews, but it got decent reviews, and it's just a fun.
It got mixed reviews and decent reviews?
Well, it got decent reviews from me.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Mixed from some, but, people can be mean sometimes.
Yes, they can.
So what was cool because the writer of that, I forget her name, but I had corresponded with her because I liked her movie so much. I'm like, hey, I loved your movie, and I thought it was really good.
You fancy.
Yeah, no. So she was very nice to write back and say stuff. So she said stuff.
Oh.
Yes, this is Hard Eyes, a little bit from IMDb. For the past several years, the Hard Eyes Killer, or HEK, as we call it, has wreaked havoc on Valentine's Day by stalking and murdering romantic couples. This Valentine's Day, no couple is safe.
Nope. None.
Yeah, so this is like a slasher film, a Valentine's Day slasher, dark comedy.
Small rom-com in there.
We're going to talk about that. Let's talk about that about the rom-com part of it. Yes. It follows Olivia Holt's character. She is like a ad executive, and her ad that's coming up around Valentine's Day, which is kind of weird because it is you'd think it would be coming out before Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And we're on Valentine's Day and it's coming out. So little hole in the plot there, but don't let it bother you. Don't let it bother you.
Just keep rolling with it.
Just go with it. So she runs into Mason's character, literally. And that's that, romantic comedy meet cute that you have in a romantic comedy movie.
Can I tell him where?
Yeah.
Is in a coffee shop.
Yeah.
So cute. Yeah.
Seattle was just coffee. Seattle.
Coffee.
They go together, right?
Yes.
So it's not filmed in Seattle.
Don't let that fool you.
Don't let that fool you.
But it's filmed in a really cool spot.
Yes. They have this meet cute in the coffee shop. She goes back to her office. She's like, I'm going to get fired for this.
Stressing out.
And the boss lady's like, nope, I brought somebody in that's going to help you
fix your problem,
which happens to be this guy she just ran into.
Literally at the coffee shop.
Wah, 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 right? kind of the typical
Total cliche.
yeah, the typical cliche rom-com kind of thing. They decide to go out to dinner to talk about work stuff, and things go wrong after that.
Oh, do they?
Not only does the date go wrong, rom-com date part of it, but then there's the horror part of it that takes over, and the Hek killer might have something to do with that. Yeah, maybe a little bit of spoilers on this one. So just be ready for earmuffs if that comes up. So earmuffs. Yes,
we're such dorks.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to go back because I had this highlighted over here too.
What you got?
The editor of this one, Brett Bachman, also edited Companion.
Seriously?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why we connected these together. We reviewed Companion. We're going to be reviewing Hard Eyes right now. All because of Brett.
So you planed that.
I planed it.
Planned it.
Yep. Surely planed it.
Okay. We're off to a great start. All right.
So the interesting thing about this is when you usually watch like a serial killer movie, you kind of learn about, or they start in the beginning, or the origin story of it. This one starts like 3-5 years into it. This killer's already been killing, so people already know about this killer's out there, and they are always talking about it during Valentine's Day.
Yeah, he's like kind of on a spree a little bit, so it's always like, do we go out? Do we stay in? Do we go out? Do we stay in?
Yes, and this kind of, somebody else said this too, and it kind of resonated with me too. Is like, this is kind of like if you watched the movie Thanksgiving, which came out, I think 2 years ago.
Yeah, but it did come out 2 years ago.
But I really love that. And it did really well.
Did it?
Yeah, it did really well. But it's on Thanksgiving. So, again, something to not worry about is these movies that these killers only happen on
these particular
days.
Holidays,
they happen on Thanksgiving. They happen on Halloween.
Halloween's a big one, though. But that's an easy one to do.
Well, I mean, obviously Halloween's been around for a long time, but they're starting to it's Arbor Day, all that stuff. So
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day.
Killer groundhogs on the loose, everybody.
Yeah, new concept. So if you can get past that part of it, I think
you'll be good.
You'll be good with that.
Yeah. This one was definitely a little harder for me to watch because it had a little more blood than I like.
Because we did talk about Companion the other day, and that was a little lighter on the blood and guts. This one is definitely a slasher. So if you are that horror slasher type person, you're gonna like those kills, because that's what you want. And that's the funny thing about this film. Our first talking point here, for sure, to me, is like, it's a slasher, so you're gonna draw slasher fans in. So they want to know how many kills it is and what kind of kills. How did they kill? It's a comedy. So you're going to have people that are like, oh, well, maybe I can watch this a little bit because it has a little bit of comedy. I think the comedy did well in this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
There are other factions that say differently, but, comedy is so subjective to me that I think you have to make that your own decision when you watch the movie.
Yeah.
And then it's a romantic comedy on top of that. So, and I didn't really think of this until I really sat down to write down what what we were going to talk about and everything, that it is really a romantic comedy surrounded by a horror movie. So if you took either one of those genres out, you'd still have a movie. You could have a romantic comedy between those two.
Yeah.
And
you could totally have a slasher movie.
Or you have a totally slasher movie and then not. It's an interesting thing because the romantic comedy, obviously they resist each other for a while. So it plays out through that whole film like a romantic comedy would. And then also they're dealing with a killer that's chasing them. And the funny part about it, little spoiler, is they're not together. And that's the whole thing, is they're like, we're not a romantic couple, and you only hunt romantic couples. So that's like kind of the funny part about it as well, is they are not a romantic couple, and they are literally getting chased by the
Hard-Eyes Killer. Yeah. Which is like kind of funny, but it's like perfect at the same time because it's like they almost kind of drop these like hints to him or her. You never know. And it's just like falls on deaf ears. And
which part falls on deaf ear? What are you talking about?
When they, well, I don't want to give it away. When they basically kind of like, it's known.
Well, here, tell me. What did they say?
When they tell the killer that they're not a couple.
Oh.
It falls on deaf ears.
Oh. Then, well, I mean, that's not giving away a lot. So.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, they totally tell the killer that they're not a couple and he doesn't care. Or she doesn't care.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Yeah. Right. Why are you doing that? So weird.
Sometimes I give away little like things.
You give away little
like, you look at me and you're like, no, you said too much.
Well, we really don't do a lot of spoiler review. Usually they're spoiler free.
Yeah. Been out for a while.
So these have been out for a little bit. And then
earmuffs, people, earmuffs.
And then there's some of these are hard to say without saying. These last two have been hard to say without giving away a little bit. So that's why I like to tell you it's a little spoiler free light.
But there definitely is. Can I talk about one of my favorite scenes?
Was it the beginning?
Well, that was funny, but no, that was not it. It was at the drive-in.
Oh, and that drive-in was good. That was
hilarious.
It was funny because Josh Rubin did talk about the drive-in, and he said that was his scare. He's never done a scene that big before, and he was nervous about actually pulling it off and making sure it all worked. And I think it did work. And he is a Jason fan, especially Jason Lives, and he was through this whole movie. He wanted to make it,
Jason-like
and like slasher-like. And
now that you said that, that scene makes total sense to me.
Right. I mean, if you watch the drive-in theme, that
with
looks like a
1980s.
Yeah. Oh, in the van too. Yeah. That's where the comedy comes in too. Yeah. And that's a long scene, but it holds the scene holds its own the two
because of the
actors.
Yeah, because of the actors.
Because of Mason and Olivia.
But yes, and
the other two.
Yeah. So particularly pay attention to the scene when they're at the drive-in, kind of beginning to middle of the movie, and
that's the end. That's towards the end.
It's towards the end. Okay.
Yeah.
And they're in this whole experience with this other couple, and it's hilarious. And then it turns into the whole Jason.
Yeah.
Era.
Yeah.
Slash.
So yeah, I thought you were gonna talk about the hook because the hook.
I'll let you do it.
I mean, I always like when I write a movie or TV show, or whatever. I try to write a hook into it because I want the audience, for one, to know tone, what it's about, and to draw you in, because we don't have a lot of time to get people to watch something. So I really need you to get hooked fast. And this, it was a good hook. It set the tone. It was some comedy in there and some slasher stuff, and it really set the tone for the whole film.
It's like right off the bat.
Yeah. I throw the people right in. Yeah, you want to throw the people right in. You don't want to start in the beginning. Throw them right in the action, right from the get go, and you're off running. And people are like, "Oh, what is this? I got to watch this," kind of thing. So,
but you know what I will say is, watching the trailer to this film and then watching the film, I thought this was a total straight up horror slasher movie.
Yeah.
Until you told me it was like a horror comedy. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, that's true too. So if you do watch the trailer, remember that it is a horror comedy and a thriller and all that stuff, and it's a romantic comedy. So you really get it all, and that's why that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're a couple that likes this kind of stuff, it is a great date movie. It really, really is. It just spins romantic comedy on another
level,
another direction, another level, and I think it's a fun date night movie. It really is that way. Because the chemistry between Mason and Olivia, and I've watched interviews with them, and they just love each other that way for their craft and everything. What they've done, they were just really impressed by each other. So you knew, like, on set they were getting along fine and enjoying each other's craft well. So that's important, that you get along on set, because that helps.
They've got good on-screen chemistry, I would say.
And they had good on-screen chemistry.
What they have?
Good on-screen Scream chemistry. Yes. What I kind of got excited because this is the way I think as a writer and as a horror writer too. It's like I'm always impressed by, and I don't think these people went out even in the 80s. They didn't go out to write a franchise like Halloween, Jason, Freddy, Chainsaw, Texas Chainsaw. But all these characters are so iconic. Chucky, these characters are all so iconic. And it's like, oh man, I want to write the next, or now with Damien Leone and the Terrifier, I think that's really the closest next franchise.
Because there's a Terrifier 4 coming out.
There's a Terrifier 4 coming out. So I think those are the next
big franchise movies.
Big franchise. And that's why I'm like, oh man, that'd be so cool to write a franchise type of killer and get back what the 80s, the 80s did with the slashers. Because there is still that market for the slashers. People want slashers. I still like really intellectual horror films, but I also like those fun, just chase them down slasher films. So this one here, it does have franchise potential, I think. Especially maybe going back too, because we're already 5 years in. We could do even a prequel.
Yeah, you could do prequels
to it,
like the buildup of
build up.
And I think too, people love serial killer stories. Like I'm a huge true crime serial killer buff, so I think this is what also drew me to that. You know that about me.
No. Yeah, no, I totally agree.
I'm constantly watching serial killer stuff.
Right.
So this is also kind of the big draw for me. Was like, okay, how are they portraying this new serial killer? So I think they did a good job. I will definitely say I love Jordana Brewster. I've been watching her for years, especially in the Fast and Furious franchise. She did a good job with this role.
It's funny that you say that because they named him Hobbs and Shaw from from that franchise.
The two detectives are named Hobbs and Shaw, and they definitely call it out and pay homage to the Fast and Furious franchise.
By calling them that. Yeah.
Which
There's
is
the comedy
awesome.
part.
But I would definitely say, I think for me, it kind of fell a little flat towards the end, just because.
Don't give away. I won't give away the ending.
Okay, I can't give it away.
Light spoiler.
Spoiler
light.
But I totally think I'm just gonna say, I think she's a badass. But it would definitely painted her in a different light for this film. But I definitely think her acting fell slightly flat in places.
I think what you're talking about is I honestly feel like it was the jokes.
Yeah.
There are jokes between Devin and Jordana kind of
fell flat.
Fell flat a little bit. That was one of the complaints. And one of my complaints as well is I feel like those jokes were a little forced a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good, I would definitely say forced. But
other than that, the jokes with the other characters and the other stuff I felt were fine. It's just those two characters I felt were a little forced on it. So
yeah, and then I think the other thing for me too was, I don't want to give it too much away either, because I want you guys to go see the film. But I think there was too much of the same character.
Tell me more.
Okay, I'll tell more. I'll spoil it away.
Well, don't spoil away too much, but tell me more.
Too much of the HEK killer.
Too much at the end?
No.
Too much reveal.
Well, yeah, too much reveal, I think.
Okay. I was going to talk about the reveal too, because I was kind of disappointed in the reveal of it a little bit. So
yeah,
I was just disappointed in it.
It's a little
just watch
cheesy.
Yeah, the reason why why you're saying cheesy is, I know why you're saying cheesy, because the reason why they were doing this was a stupid reason. Was kind of not a good reason why I felt like they were doing it. Yeah. So, but other than that, it's just, that's where it kind of lacked towards the end, which is frustrating, because when you get all the way to the end and it kind of falls off a cliff a little bit. It didn't completely fall off a cliff. I still enjoyed the ending.
It was teetering on the cliff.
But it teetered on the cliff, and I know what you're saying about those things. I completely agree. The ending, not that great. But all the way up to that, oh man, it was a fun ride. I didn't even realize it was before I realized that the movie was over. And those are the movies I kind of like. Again, it's not that long. It's an hour 37.
Look at me go.
Yeah. So again, I like those compact. Horror movies shouldn't be probably more than an hour and a half anyway.
Hour 45.
Hour 45 tops. Yes. But so this kept it.
It kept it moving.
Kept it moving really well. with that part. But just, I think our only complaint with that was the ending part of that and the reveal and why they were doing it. And that they revealed. So that was the other thing too.
Yeah.
But other than that, I really liked it.
I did too.
Really, really enjoyable movie. Date movie for sure. It's a horror, a rom-com wrapped in a horror comedy film. And you go, that's not going to work. And I say, it does. It really does. It really does. So please go out and see this as well.
Yes.
I think you'll enjoy it just for the fun ride. You know, this one's one you don't have to go too deep in. Just enjoy the ride and the film. And we definitely got to give it a rating, right?
Yeah. I'm going with 3.5 stars.
3.5.
Yeah. I'm between a 3 and a 3.5. But I think a 3.5 because I do like a good serial killer movie. And I think that there's potential to build on the franchise.
Okay. All right. I say 3.7.
3.7?
I don't know, because I was like...
I didn't know we were doing points.
No, I don't know. I was
3.2.
Okay. 3.2, 3.7, because I wanted to keep going. I want to see that if they can continue the franchise.
I think they can. I think they can give a backstory, like you said.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if they can go a front story, but a backstory is good.
Yeah, they might not be
able to go forward.
But you can always come up with something.
Yeah, you could.
You can always come up with something. Yeah. So there was another thing that I wanted to bring up. It was the mask Josh Rubin came up with. Again, kind of honoring those slasher type movies from the 80s. Obviously, the lights, the eyes light up, and he has that night type of vision. So you got kind of that cool that he can see the night vision with the eyes lighting up as well.
Yeah.
He kind of took from Pinhead, which is funny enough, because they originally had spikes in the mask, and they're like, no, that's too much. He was like, it's just over the top. He's like, more is less.
Yeah.
So they took the spikes out. He wanted the tool belt because he wanted him to have cool weaponry, because he has a cool bow and arrow with
it's a heart on the end, right?
It has a heart on the end of it as well. On the bolts that shoot out.
Yeah. And then one of his knives has a heart.
Yeah.
On the handle.
So he really wanted to go into all that weaponry from all, whatever, from the Jason stuff, because Jason came up with different tools and times to kill people with. So the mask was more Pinhead, and then
with some hard eyes.
With some hard eyes on it. With night vision.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was
I don't know if I've ever seen a horror movie with night vision.
No,
it's got to be done at least once or twice.
I can't think of it.
I can't think of one.
I can't think of it as a mask. That's why I thought it was kind of interesting. I'm like, oh, you want to give him night vision? That's kind of weird. Okay.
Yeah, because I don't think you really know the mask lights up until a particular scene, and then you're like, oh, this is different, and then you go through the vision of the mask.
Yeah, at times.
So that shot was really cool.
All right, so thank you for joining us for our review of the Hard Eyes Killer. Please like and subscribe. We really need those subscribers. We really love to have you out there subscribing to us, and like the button. Please write a comment. I respond to all of them, all the few that we've had so far I've responded to, and I'll continue responding to yours as well. Please watch us on the YouTube at the Horror Comedy Hangout podcast channel, or on any audio platform that you listen to, because we're on all of them. And we'll see you on the next one, right?
Yes, we will.
All right. Have a good night.
See you soon.